Okay. Versatile Vigilante, Young Vince, Uncle Vinny. Here are the special guests. We got Fallingbrook in the building. Yes, sir.
Hello.
What's going on, bro?
Good. How are you?
Good, man.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure, bro.
Yeah.
We met a couple months ago, talked about maybe doing an interview, and we set it up.
Yeah, no, I've kind of seen your stuff, and I think it's like the cool thing about what you do is that like you have a platform that the community has decided that you're the person, like, you know what I mean, like.
Appreciate that, bro.
Yeah, no, I think so far at least, right? Like I don't know any, like a lot of people have podcasts, but I think you have a consistent people that show up that are from the same community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to like just random people from there. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I appreciate that, bro. I'm glad that you understand that because that's kind of what I want it to be as well. I appreciate that a lot.
I think it's always important to stick with one community at first before you go into, you know.
Trust me, bro. I heard this term recently. Like you want to be eventually, like if you keep doing what you're doing, you want to be known globally but respected locally. And I really feel that because the people that you're actually around see you, you know. They're the ones that know you as a person, you know what I mean? I think it's an important thing. It's
like gossip, right? Like if I tell you, oh, I have some juicy shit about this person, like a stranger, right? You know, you won't care probably, but let's say like you'd be more interested if it was a girl that you knew, and that everybody knew from the community in that sense, right? Like, or I won't say just a girl, but just anybody, right? Like a
water cooler like politics,
something, yeah, but because you know, like it's relevant within the community.
Yes,
you know, I think even just with any form of branding, like because branding's reputation, right? So.
Very well said, bro. Hey, you're welcome anytime. Compliment me. I'm happy about that.
It is. Like so, you know, like your reputation only matters if majority of the people know it in that community. If it's like one person from this community and three people from that, and it's all scattered, it's like, well, you know, it's like, what's the point, right? Like,
it's super true, bro. I completely agree. I think actually Lil Yachty said that in an interview once. Like, he's from Atlanta, I think, and he's like, I wanted to get popping in Atlanta before I could pop anywhere else, and
I think that's the only way.
I agree.
You don't start like a convenience store, right, and start marketing to the people in fucking Saskatchewan, and then after that you go to the thing, and it's like, no, you've picked the people in your neighborhood, and you make sure you have a neighborhood, you dominate that, and then after that you kind of go on to the next, you know.
Facts.
Yeah.
Very well said, bro. I completely agree.
That's business, isn't it?
That's business, man. So, yo, for people kind of new to Fallingbrook, talk a little bit about first you as a person. Like, where'd you grow up? How'd you kind of come up and get involved in the stuff you're dealing with?
I like music. Like I like that's like all I would do. Like
just growing up listening, playing music.
Yeah, just musing it, just listening to it. Like I just tune the world out, kind of like with it. In a way.
Okay.
And there's just like cool thing about music as an art form is that you don't really have to use your brain that much. Like I don't listen to lyrics most of the time, but I don't think there's that many art forms where like are that like less cognitive. Right. Art, you kind of actually have to look at it and kind of dissect what is it, right?
Visual.
For it to actually have a huge effect, you know. But with music, it's just vibes, right? You can kind of just tune out, especially when you want to relax and kind of just meditate or anything like that. So, and then I just got really obsessed with like sounds and but you know, I kind of had like a traditional background where I was supposed to go to law school, and I did go to law school. Okay. And I was there. I was quite good at it too. In
Toronto?
No, in the UK. I went when I was 18.
In the UK, okay.
Yeah, because I didn't want to get undergrad, right? So it's like in every country in the world goes straight to law school except Canada. So I just thought I'd just do it in the UK. Got there, I was there, and then I had a couple roommates that were in music, and then I hung out with them, and it was just really fun, and I just felt really, and the conversations were really, it was easy, right? And then I was just like, this is, and then I remember meeting people who I thought like, you know, like, and they got pretty far, and I was like I'm smart, I could do that, you know what I mean? Like, and I just thought like, what if I was smart enough to get into law school? I was like, well, what would I do here? And I realized too that like most people who took like a right, like, you know, like not a creative endeavor or something like that, right? They were all way too scared to enter the industry. So I'm like, all right, cool. So most people are way too like this, like the right brain thinkers, right? We're way too scared to enter this. I just might be a minority here, and I might be able, you know. there has to be a way in that sense. So
sorry to interrupt you, bro, but like when you're in law school, did you always have it in the back of your head, like I want to be involved in music?
No, I was way too scared.
Okay.
I've always like it was something I always thought was like it was a fantasy. When somebody ever asked me what's your dream, it was always music. But then like I never thought like I'd ever do it. So it's just, you know what I mean?
Right.
It just didn't seem realistic. And then I met people. It was just a matter of meeting people who were actually doing exactly what I wanted to be doing, and it just seemed real. And then on top of that, seeing their flaws, seeing they weren't even as smart as I thought they'd be, and then I was like, I think I might be smarter than you in that, you know. And then I realized it doesn't take this ultimate capabilities to kind of just make it, right? Like you can, you know, because you think that in order to make it, you have to be this elite, you know, like you know, and it's like no, there's a middle ground where it's like, you know, like I don't think most of us are going to be superstars. That's because amazing wouldn't it be amazing if it was that easy. Facts. So I think that's that thing that deters people is that it's like, oh, like where's the average, you know, musician, right. And what does that look like? How stable is that? Right. And I kind of realized, all right, well, it's not, you know, I mean, I've seen stable musicians, right, and they don't look that glamorous, but they're not that poor either. And it's like, okay, I want that. So then, yeah, I wanted to aim for that. So I finished law school because I was like, fuck it, I'm already here. Last year, I finished it. And then I started, and then I realized all my peers were started like kind of doubt me, or not doubt me. But yeah, I mean, like, because at first you start pretty bad, right? Like you know, you're, and I didn't know what I was doing. I thought I was gonna be a producer. I thought I was gonna be a whatever. And you know, your beginnings are not the best at everything. Absolutely. And I guess people just thought I lost my mind, right? And I just didn't like people. I don't like being around people that thought, you know, because I pretty had a lot of doubt going in. I was terrified, right? Right. But I was like, and the thing is too is that like I had a good career right in front of me, and I had to like, and it was gonna make me a lot of money, and I was like, so I didn't want to have any of the. So literally anybody that had like a little bit of like a sarcastic tone, cut them out. You know what I mean? I like that, bro, because it's not a joke. You know, they're kind of like they mean fucking with you. Fucking with me in that sense, and they don't mean it. Like they and I wanted people that did believe in me. So I cut cutting everybody off, and ended up having started from ground zero. Like, and I was like, nah, I need friends that are gonna push me towards this direction. And it was hard because it was a lot of grieving. These are people I knew my entire life. Like the first year was like grief. Yeah, loneliness, doubt. Yeah. Like, am I really doing the right thing? It was grief. Yeah, and it was a lot of. It felt like a funeral, like over and over and over again. Like you just lost everybody, even my family too. It's like because they started kind of just like fighting, you know, with it. It's like because imagine, right? Like I was on my way to like quite literally almost $250,000 a year at some point, right? Like that's, you know, I had friends from Dubai, right? That, you know, I could have had connections there too, right? And everybody just saw me walk away from that. I was like, this guy lost his mind. Like, right. And then, you know, I thought I lost my mind, but I said, fuck it. There's this one Jay-Z bar. He said, we know what we are right now, but we don't know what we think we might be. So maybe I'm the one, or maybe I'm crazy. Something like that, right? So I just kept bringing it. So maybe I am the one, or maybe I'm fucking nuts, right? You gotta see. I just want to see it, though. I need to find out. Yeah. Absolutely, bro. I love that you said that, because I've had similar thoughts about what I do as well, and I completely agree with you. Where it's like I need to kind of satisfy this itch. Like, how else are we gonna know? Because I figured like another big question or statement that I would just tell myself is that if I was like broke in both aspects, what would I rather be broke as? I'd rather be broke as a musician, and I'd rather be a broke lawyer, right? Because it doesn't just because I'm a lawyer. Just okay, let's just say if I made it out and blah blah. I mean, there's not a guarantee I was going to be successful, right? Right. I mean, like I can hop out and struggle to find a job. Would I be happy as a broke lawyer though? That would suck. But you know, right now I'm a broke fucking musician at the moment, and I'm enjoying it. I was probably the happiest I've ever been, because I'm just literally just I'm just having a lot, like the friends are cool, you know, and you know, people used to tell me like, you know, like say good job when I did something as like in law school. That meant fuck all to me. When I get a good job in music, I feel fucking phenomenal, and you know, because I feel like that's what I want to be good at, you know. And
Yep.
yeah, it's like
That's an excellent story, bro. That's very, very relatable for me because you're putting your ass on the line.
I put my entire life on this. Like if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
I'm wrong. There's no other. You know what I mean?
That's real. And you know what's cool about that though is like, just like when you were in law school, you were learning shit, you were figuring things out. Now you're doing that too, but you're having more fun with it.
Way
You're
more fun.
enjoying yourself.
I'm also fucking successful at this because we did this whole. I started working with this guy named Vilemurk, and people should know that.
Yeah, I've definitely heard the name around the city. Yes, I've never met, but
that's wild, right?
Yeah.
Because we came from like literally 300 followers. No one knew us, in that sense. And in 1 year, right? Like, I mean, like his first show. He didn't want to. We could have sold tickets, but like I guess because like he didn't want to risk it, for some reason, I don't know. But so he wanted just because he put 4 years to this album, and it meant a lot. So he's like, I want everybody to hear it. So he made it for free, and there was 100 signups, right? Like he got 50 off the first week in that sense, and that's. I mean, most people don't get that for, you know, like their first event. You didn't have to share the stage with anybody, coming from nothing, like. And the way we did that was by like strategic marketing. Like I didn't go and I didn't market the songs, I marketed the show. So we did this whole bedroom documentary, and because we said that the show was the album release party was going to be like a recreation of his bedroom. You know, we created hype for the show as opposed to the album, because that's the show is the thing that makes the money, not the music. The music doesn't make money.
Right.
Right.
The music is to get the people to the show.
Music is the advertisement. Music has always been the advertisement. That's why I always get upset when artists like aim for streams. I think it's silly because it's like, well, like, like it takes way too long. It takes 1 million streams to make 1,000. I think. What was the number? It was
like it's a pretty big.
Yeah, it was like 1 million or something like that for $1,000, right? Dollars. But it takes 60 tickets to make $1,000.
Yeah.
And most people don't listen twice to a song. So that's a lot of people you have to convince. Now let's just say you hop on a playlist. You have to pay for that playlist.
Yeah.
How much is that you're paying for that? You're paying like what, a couple bills? So
I don't even know.
And for the chance to get, let's just say 1 million streams, which is 1,000. So you make your overhead. You know what I mean? You're not going to make your money back.
Plus, you have to do that multiple times.
And most people, when they listen to a song, they're not just listening to a song. They're not following the brand. Has no tie to the brand. Most people don't even know who I'm listening to. Like if you're on the playlist, as opposed to a show, which you only need 60 people to convince to fuck with you. You just have to make an impact on 60 people.
Yes, and now those 60 people have a memory.
Have a memory that they're all going to tell their friends.
Yeah.
And guess what? You know Vilemurk. That's funny, right?
Yeah. No, bro, it's a small world, man.
It is
small community.
Because I just focused on the one community, right? And I made sure that, you know, like everybody that we marketed to knew each other, so that the message will get passed on, right? And we're not marketing to strangers. We're marketing to, you know, so that there was a reputation. And, you know, guess how much all the whole thing costed? Costed what, $2,000 for the whole year? That's pennies, bro. Yeah. People spend 6,000, like not 6,000.
Could go like that.
Hundreds on their music video. That gives them nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like all we did, we made several pieces of content with $2,000. That included like a show.
And sorry, you said the name already. What was it called?
Vilemurk.
The piece of content though.
What we did a documentary.
Yeah.
The documentary on the bedroom. You know, I knew people that had like really, really elaborate music videos that nobody gave a fuck about because nobody watches music videos, right? And then everybody talked about the documentary because nobody came out with the documentary as content, like, you know what I mean? And after we started doing it, then we saw other people kind of like, you know, do, you know, like other forms of content that wasn't just like, you know, like. Well, to be fair, I haven't seen that. I've seen. Nah, I don't think I have. That's a lie. So no, but like
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like it's just like, yeah, I'm not gonna boast. But
no, I get it, bro.
I just feel like it was effective. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that many people like on their first show got those numbers.
Yeah, 100%. Yo, that's when you start to get involved in, especially creative ventures, like or anything where you need people to come or people to follow it, to fuck with it. You really appreciate, like, if it's a few that do come, that's big, you know? It's not easy to get anyone to, bro, even for free. it's hard to get people to come out. So to be able to get 60 people is huge, you know, and I don't think people understand how many that actually is.
It's hard, yeah, for a first event. Like
first event, that's crazy.
Ask people, how many people like get first event? Like that's our first formal event. Like
yeah,
you know,
bro, most people can't name 60 people. To get 60 people to come to a show is nuts, first time. But yo, I want to take a step back real quick. So after you were in law school and you decide to get deeper into music, what did that lead to? Like you came back home and started playing an instrument, you started hitting mad people up. What was that actually like for you?
COVID hit, so it was just like I thought that was like, oh fuck, but I thought that was a good thing because so COVID gave me a lot of money. So first thing I did was learn a bunch of shit. Like I started off with production though.
Okay.
And I realized I'm not good at that. And then I still do production though. But I'm not good. I'm not that good at it. But I thought like, okay, cool. What's something that's like more analytical and like I could use that side of my brain, right? Because I am good at that. So I thought audio engineering. But then it was just like, and I did get good at it. It was just not fast enough. And I realized that like anytime I needed to engineer something, it would take me days, and that's because I was like, way too like you know, like picky at it, and I just get lost in it. So I needed something I was gonna be. And on top of that, like I even started I met Val through actually mixing him for the first time, right? He didn't like it, and then but he wanted like a whole creative kind of mix thing, right? So I'm like, all right, well fuck, like what am I supposed to do now? And then I realized that like, all right, well, what skills do I have now that like that I'm already good at, so I don't really have to think. And I realized, okay, I'm good at like analytical stuff because of law, and I'm good at problem solving, and I'm good at also have like I like to think I'm pretty good at like emotional like stuff, just because like you know I kind of like I try to like in terms of like communication and stuff like that, right? Like that was something I was really bad at as a kid, you know, young, and I spent like a lot of money and time and books and reading just to get really good at it. I went through a lot of therapy too, so did that, and I thought like my communication skills weren't that bad. So yeah, I thought, okay, management, because I got in so many different avenues. Right. I knew a little bit of each, so you know what I mean. And then I thought like, okay, cool. What I need something though that's going to certify me as something like. So I also enrolled myself at a school for entertainment management at the same time. Did that. Which was a waste of money and time. Don't do that. Yeah. Okay. But I met a lot. I met a couple people that were worth millions to me though, because very good musicians. Lamar, very good producer.
Shout out Lamar.
Prod Livin. Yes, we did that. And then management was the spot for me. I started to realize how easy it was to do well with Vile. Cool thing about Vile too is that trusted a lot of the ideas. Like my ideas, like because I also read a lot about like I studied a lot of business textbooks from my sister. Right. My sister went to business school, so I just took her like her university textbooks and just went at them like for months. And then I bought a bunch of books and did a bunch of courses on marketing and management while I was doing that. And then I got the hang of it, and I started to see like business for what it really is, which is it's not this complicated. It's literally you're trying to create something that solves a really, really big problem for people that they have not that much access to, right? And you also have to get good at communicating that value to them, right? And also it's also being good at organizing that process. That's what business is, essentially. And, you know, like, and you do that all the time with friendships. You do it with dating. Then I found, like, the patterns and all that. And, you know, I'm like, okay, cool. Like, this isn't, like, that complicated. Right. And then I was like, well, Vile. I'm like, all right, cool. How do we make sure that your shit's adding value to people, like, beyond just entertainment? And we're like, we'll pick the people that are more likely to listen to you, which are artists, because they're kind of already in that whole thing, right? Right. And we're gonna, what's something that they kind of want to, you know, will make them really valuable for them, right? Beyond entertainment. Well, what if we just teach them how to do shit, like inspire creativity out of them, you know? And we did shows. I always made sure that the shows were very elaborate. Like, we brought the bedroom over. Like, see why we did that bedroom documentary? we brought the bedroom over to the venue.
Love that.
Yeah, we did commercials where we brought the bedroom over to a field, and it was like a drone shot, and it was playing while the show was going on, and we took songs that you couldn't imagine being rock songs. We brought like live bands for a hip hop performance at the time when at that venue, Objects.
Yeah.
No one wanted to do that yet. I think so. I haven't seen that at first.
Right.
I don't remember anybody, hip hop acts at least, doing that. So we did that at that venue, and it really and we also got shirts and we just threw them into the crowd while there. And we also used the venue like almost on like all of it as opposed to just the stage, right? So we even like I found ways like this is one little balcony area, and we found like how we could take them up there and create a moment that people were going to take videos of, And it's almost like you kind of like, and it did work because people, after we did that show, everybody shared it with all their friends. They said, I saw that show even though I wasn't even there. And after that day, like, and leading up with all the content, they just saw how everything pieced together. And then after that moment, like, things really changed. I started going to that same venue and hearing like people talk, that's Vilemurk, that's Vilemurk, that's Vilemurk, and whispering to each other.
Yeah.
And I knew like, okay, now we did something. And then it's funny because we were invisible before, and
you created a buzz for yourself.
Created the buzz, and I learned that like, and I asked people after, why'd you like that? And they said, because I didn't know we could do that. And that was the response. Like I didn't know, and then I realized, and then I started asking more people to confirm that, and that was the same response. It inspired, and then we got to see other people kind of do that with their shows now.
Right.
So I'm like, cool. So that's how we're adding value. And we're kind of teaching them how to spice up their shows.
Very cool. And is that on YouTube? The documentary?
No, what, the documentary?
Yeah.
Oh, no, the documentary's on
the documentary. This was a one-time show.
The one-time show I wish we had recorded. It was supposed to be recorded, but the venue, like, they usually record these shows, and for some reason, the day of our show, like, it was
It always happens. I think that's the new... It's not even a new thing, but that's going to be super valuable. Recording everything, like, just having everything as...
For content.
Exactly, bro.
That's the product.
That's the product.
That's your show.
So you did that first show, and you were pretty excited by that, to say the least.
What, the first show? Which show?
The Object Show.
The Object Show, yeah. We also used the Object Show as promo. Like I never thought that the Object Show was going to be like the show that we make the money off. I don't believe that like artists should. If you're not paying for the venue, don't consider it like that. Expect much out of it.
Right.
Right. Like, so like. I used the Object Show for promo for our show, because they were gonna give us an audience that we don't have to.
Got you.
We go off their brand and we take.
You're maxing out that situation.
And we also made sure that we featured strategically. So if we needed if we needed the female audience in that sense, right? We made sure we picked somebody that was really, really Well, to be fair, actually, that was an accident, but I learned from it.
Okay.
So we did that after, right? So, yeah, because I remember after that. So basically, there was this one girl that she had like a lot of, it was Belisi. She's the only feature on the album, right? That was a female.
I see her on Instagram too.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. So basically, like when we featured with her, we realized Val's like female like attendance, like they started because Belisi has a female audience primarily, and then we're like, oh shit, so that's how it works, and then we realized if we can use her feature strategically now, right? It's like, and then we're like, cool. So if we want to hop into different people's audiences, we just have to do the features and make sure it comes out right, and we make the song also cater to that particular type of people, right? So, yeah.
Dipping into other audiences, growing the fan base organically.
That's the only way. That's
I agree.
The only way as a local, because like your music really has like the most subjective value, and I feel like if I was to ever go to a local like Toronto downtown and be like, yo, I'll pay you $3 to listen to the song in full, or I'll give you a Kit Kat to not listen to it. Most people would pick the Kit Kat.
Yeah,
and that's the value of your music. Like, and it is. You have to prove that value to people through a brand. Right.
Very true, bro. I love that. So, are you officially Vilemurk's manager?
I stopped because I wanted to go into I like Vilemurk was very good for like teaching in that sense, and but obviously bills kind of came in, and you can't live off one artist. So what I started doing was I wanted to create like a way to do it for, you know, and I came up with this branding consultation thing.
Okay.
Where, you know, I take what I learned off Vile and kind of be able to apply it to thing. It's also a lot less hands-on for me, but like I help artists kind of like formulate the plan, which is really important. You know what I mean? So
right.
Like one of the things I first start off is like coming up with your actual brand. What are you actually providing for people? And we make sure that like this is what your purpose is. And then what I also do is like show you like, so once we come up with the brand and, you know, we write it down, we make sure it's like on paper. Then I take all their content and everybody else's like their competitors' content, and we just look at it and be like, okay, cool, this thing that you posted, is it on brand or off brand? And if it is, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is it communicating that brand? And they realize, oh, it's 5, 4. Oh shit, so I'm not really communicating that brand properly. And then we go beyond just content. Now it's now clothing. What are you wearing that's conveying that outfit? Your outfit, how on brand is it? Scale of 1 to 10. Oh shit, it's not that. You know, with Vile too, they used to put him in a blue suit, baby blue suit. It was like, because the whole thing's creativity, right? Down to the outfit, you know.
You're like an underground consultant.
No one's also kind of, again, nobody wants to enter this. I also talked to
very smart.
I figured I'd come up with this shit. You know what I mean? Like yeah. I but it was hard. Like and the cool thing about this too is that all these other marketing agencies, right? They're finessing people because it's like they're treating you as if music is this different. It's always going to be a business. Things are always a business, and standard business rules will apply. You have to add value.
Right.
Value, and it's not entertainment, and it's not this movement. But well, how do I? So this movement thing, people only trust you if you've actually changed one person's life, right?
Yep.
So whatever values you have, try to apply it and actually change one person's life, and make sure that you document that. One person's all you have to change, one person's life, right? Before you try to change the world, right? If you can't do one person, then what are you doing? All right?
Yeah.
And dedicate yourself to one person, and after that, dedicate yourself to 3, 4, and then people will start noticing that. And then you're actually doing you know what I mean? That movement, as opposed to just like, worship me. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yes, and you're 100% right. That movement can't be fabricated. Like, it has to be done.
You need a reputation of people seeing you, like literally, like, oh shit, I've seen him literally go and take people and you know,
yeah,
he's not doing it for the cameras, and then people talk about that because, like, if you don't like inauthenticity, right? Like with major celebrities, you will not love it with a local person that you already don't want to praise, right? Like
real shit. Like, I actually met you at the Zargo show. Shoutout Zargo, legend. And
Zargo's the reason why I met Vilemurk.
See, bro, it's connections, and that's a underground event. That's a Toronto event, but people there were all kind of in the same facet, like trying to build what they're trying to build, but supporting each other. Like, and I thought that was so valuable because it's like, if you're at the Zargo show, I understand what you're trying to do, you know. I understand kind of where your headspace is.
Well, Zargo is somewhat special to me because like Zargo was, I didn't have, when I first like was on my lonely phase, like Zargo was the first person in the industry that I think I met.
Cool ass guy, bro. One of the nicest guys ever.
I had no pictures and no profile pic, and I just said, can I hang, can you know, because I wanted to have peers, right? I didn't know how to like kind of network yet, so I went and just asked them, yo, I know like I don't have any pictures or whatever up and stuff like that, but can I come to a session and, you know, because I like your shit.
That's cool as fuck.
Did it, and then after that we met, and anytime like I ever, like, you know, he's always just been, and that's why like no matter what stage I need to have Zargo's back, like, you know what I mean? Like,
same, bro. I agree. Cool ass guy.
Really good guy.
I love that you said that because you seem like a very, like, you don't live in denial. You saying, yeah, I didn't have any peers and I didn't know how to network. Like, just to admit that to yourself is big because it's like, okay, I gotta do this to get to where I want to be. I have to become good at this, networking, meeting people, dealing with people. So, for you to just admit that, I respect, because I think a lot of people are sometimes in denial, like, oh, I'm good at this, even though
Oh,
deep down,
I'm
you
honest.
know.
I'm honest way beyond like, but
Love that.
No, but like way too like much sometimes. Like I'll
Sure.
lose a lot of people because of it too. Like,
Okay.
yeah. But like, it's because there's this book I read. It's called Radical Honesty, and I followed it to a T. And it was like say the thing you don't want to say the most to the person you don't want to say it to the most.
Okay, that's savage mode.
It kind of is, but it's also like this. It's almost like because that's who you are. And
True.
like if you're hiding that information from them, I mean, like you're not giving them the right like information they need to make a good decision, right? And if they do sit with you with the truth, right, when they actually do care about you, as opposed to like, you know, sometimes you might have dirty beliefs or whatever, right? But everybody has fucked up beliefs, right? For somebody to be able to kind of hear that and still like accept you, I mean, that's love, actually, right? Like,
facts. They're really rocking with you as a person,
even if they're willing to pay a price to even sit with you, and that's, you know, really filters out a lot of fake relationships. I mean, yeah. So it's always been a good tool for me to kind of like see the truth. It sucks sometimes, but like I'm so used to grief that like I just kind of like I kind of know how to process it quick.
I get it. I think it's one of those things where it's painful but necessary in a way.
And it just only, it's like, I mean, at the end of the day, too, I mean, if you kept something inauthentic, it's down to break down eventually, and might as well now than later.
100%. I like to use the analogy, like, if you're building a house with shit materials, foundation's fucked up, it's going to be gone.
Yep.
But if it's a strong foundation, it can withhold storms. It can withhold other shit.
I'd rather lose it consciously when I'm ready for it than have it ripped from my feet,
exactly,
without my choice.
Exactly. Do you feel like going to law school gave you a bit of an edge in what you're doing now? Because, to go to law school for it was how long? Sorry,
3 years.
3 years. I did paralegal actually, so I have a bit of a taste of like what legal work is, and it's a lot of reading. It's a lot of pretty dry shit at time, but you definitely learn a lot about people, and you learn a lot about business law. Do you feel like that gave you a bit of a upper hand in kind of what you're doing right now?
Sorta. I mean, like I kind of like law school doesn't really teach, like it teaches you how the law operates, and like I kind of learn my rights.
Yeah.
Even though like so I can predict the law without, not necessarily fully, but like you kind of get like understand like where the law is coming from, the law's perspective, and why it does it.
Right.
And it's like that's why sometimes I'll be hearing headlines and it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes there's probably a good cause for it, right? Always, most of the time. Whether it's to protect democracy or whether it's to protect, like, I guess, something that everybody can't see now, but we can see it later. And,
yeah,
there's always good reasons. And it's very hard to have, like, it's very rare, too, that I've seen, like, new bad law. It's usually old bad law, right? But I don't know. Anyways, but yeah, I kind of just learned like my rights, and so now I just became more confident when just knowing something's off.
Yeah.
And I know that like, all right, like even if this person's, I still have like
Exactly, like they're legally not allowed to do this, so I shouldn't even worry about it. That's real.
Yeah, most
eliminate some fear. Sorry.
Yeah, no, like 100%, and then I also kind of learned that like, if you, not to sound arrogant or anything like that, but
say it, bro.
Very little times I'm wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like because
right.
Because especially if I'm adamant about something, if I'm really adamant about something, like I always go to people and be like, yo, is this wrong? Like they can argue at me and come at me different points at it in that sense. And then even if there's like a slight hiccup, I'll adjust it in that sense. Like,
right.
I always like thing, but if there's something that I've double checked and we're in an argument and I'm still holding my ground on it, I'm very quick to actually let up and be like, all right, if I'm not confident in it. But yeah.
No, that's real, man. Because that confidence is really everything. If you move without the confidence, you're not, it's not as strong. And people, I think, can tell too.
It's earned. I think confidence is your ability to do something again.
Facts. You did it once, you could do it again.
You could do it again, so you can lose it. So you don't mind if it's gone. Like, I mean, that's why I think girls like confident guys. It's like they know they have so much that they could afford to make a mistake, right? Or, because they're very charismatic and they know how to add enough value to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to somebody that is very unsure, you know, because they don't know how much value they could provide, and you know, so this once in a lifetime thing, it's like, you know what I mean, like, that's why they're very, very guarded and cautious about every single move that they make, because you know, a bad decision is going to cost, you know. But yeah, I think the ability to know that you can mess up because you have so much in abundance is the actual confidence.
Facts. Never panicking.
Yeah.
Real shit. So Fallingbrook, where does that name come from?
The street. You see, yeah, I thought like the place that kind of gave me all of my bad memories.
Okay.
I thought I could just use it for.
Fallingbrook. There's a baseball diamond in Fallingbrook.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's
I used to
in
play
front of my
baseball
school.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
I know where you're from now. Mississauga shit.
Yeah, that was my school, and then it was just it was the place where I actually found like the teacher. One of the, I didn't go to Fallingbrook school. I went to Catholic school, but there was it was on that street, Fallingbrook. Right?
Yeah.
The teacher that got me into music was, you know, she was there, and that she changed my life. And yeah, like.
In what way? Believing in you?
Yeah, like I was always like because I had ADHD, so I always had trouble like always got in trouble. And she was the only person that like saw kind of through that and kind of understood. But the thing is, like, nobody diagnosed me because like my grades weren't bad.
Right.
So I just went under the radar. So so I just thought I was just a bad kid. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I just so she kind of saw through it, and then she kind of like, you know, would kind of like see what, you know, what I actually wanted to do with this energy, and it was always in the creative shit. And she always tried to. She built me creativity. She kind of got me to see my creativity, and you know, she always highlighted it. She was like, "Wow, Peter," and she was like, you know, and she always played music, you know, and I always really liked it. And if it was a song I really liked, I feel like she'd always try to put it on. I don't know, like it was like the only time anybody's ever done that for me.
Shout out to your teacher, bro.
She was good.
What's her name?
Miss Hansberger.
Miss Hansberger. Yo, I love that, man, because you can really make an impact on someone's
Yeah,
life.
because no teacher liked me. Like, no, I've always had bad you know, they never liked me. And it was like this one person actually liked me.
I love that, man. And you know what? You know what's sick? It's like it reminds you when you're older too. Like if you see a kid maybe going down a path, or 100%. You see potential in them, it reminds you like someone was there for me. Real shit. Very important.
It's tough. Yeah.
I love that, bro. So, Fallingbrook, as of right now, someone can just hit you and be like, "Can you help me with building a brand?" Or what's your? How does someone get in touch with you to link up? Like, how do you look for people, or do people hit you? What's that look like for
sometimes you? People, which is funny because like, yeah, sometimes people hit me up. Right now, making content so that I am kind of more aware. My Instagram does not look like I do branding, you know. So yeah, like when I was primarily working on Vile, that people really did see it. And
yeah.
Like, so I got a lot of requests, but I was only exclusively on Vile at that time, right? So I wasn't gonna take anybody. So I had to let them say no. I had to say no. But I don't know. I kind of went and created like a consultation thing. It's pretty cheap too right now, just because I'm still building it. And so I'm doing 50 a session, which is pretty. Okay. You know, I'd like to get to 50 an hour eventually. 50 a session for now, and I'm trying to make sure that, like, you know, like every single time there's a deliverable that is, you know, actionable. You know what I mean? Like, and
right.
I also like to be able to set goals, and then give, like, again, like I think it's also beyond marketing too, because I try to show people how to keep track of their clients, right? So like, you need to keep track of the people that bought from you and texted you and showed interest in you, and make this list of people and even label them and what they even do, you know, and try to grab as much information as possible. Because when you're trying to sell something, you know, you go in order of customers thing. So I show people how to do that. I also show people how to budget. And by budget also means like, all right, so if I'm spending this much, how much do I expect to get out of that? And if there's no dollar amount, then leave it, because it's not a good idea. Every idea you spend has to buy you something. And it has to actually buy you a tangible number. So if you're even doing it for brand awareness, I want 50 or 60 people on this list, not just like, you know, brand awareness, right? No, it's on a particular list, and that's what you're buying.
Right.
And if it's not for brand awareness, it's to sell a show. I'm trying to sell 60 tickets, all right? And that's your goals. And then if you didn't hit your goals, you figure out why. And you go, and that why is your weakness, and that's how you grow. But you know, I see a lot of people just making shit and just be like, oh, up in the air. Let's see
Yeah,
what happens.
you're breaking everything down, and I think simplifying it to its most basic, which is super crucial, man. You're giving me ideas right now,
Yeah.
because it's like, yo, when you look at the whole picture, it can be a little overwhelming. But if you break everything down, what do you want from this? What do you want from this? What can you provide for this? It makes things doable.
And gradual, because like
Gradual.
it's like you know, if nobody's ever had a show before, I say 20 people. All right, get 20 people, and that could even just be taking up to dinner enough to where, you know, and you have enough to where they actually like you enough to actually show up as a homie.
Yep.
Right, but that's marketing. I mean, it worked.
Exactly.
It was way more effective than the stupid music video for $600, right?
Yep.
Like you
Who's
got 20 people to
coming?
the show.
Exactly.
Right? Like, it doesn't have to be these traditional forms of thing. You just need to get, if your goal is 20 people at this thing, do whatever it takes to get 20 people at the thing. That's it.
If you can turn $1 into $2, you can turn 2 into 4.
Because you know what's the silliest thing too? It's like people don't realize this. When you go and you make a music video, and you go from, because let's just say a music video costed you $600 or $700, right? On YouTube, it takes about 300,000. YouTube's a bit more generous. It's 300,000, right? Let's just say you start off with 300 views, and the progress you got moved from 300 to 1,000. That really motivates people to go again. Fam, you spent $600 and you did not even scratch your overhead, right? Why are you going after this method? And let's just say it takes 10 music videos or 15 music. That's let's just say each music video is $1,000, right? Maybe like what? So $15,000 possibly, right? Just to make your original $1,000 back. And that's if that never happens. Like you know, people, I've seen people, I will never. You know, so it's like I could use $15,000 and make, you know, like I do way more to grab that money back. Right?
Yes.
Like,
and yeah, you're right, bro. You mentioned earlier, like, music, we try to overfuck it, like overcomplicate it. It's a business too. So the music is the music, but the business has to be on point.
music is like, you have a better chance making your zucchinis, right, world famous than it is your music. Like, literally, because your music, at least zucchinis actually have value. Like yeah. I mean, like, if you go offer to a person and, like, you know, who's hungry, right, would you rather hear my song or would you rather eat a zucchini? Fucking, I'd want to have a zucchini, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't take much convincing.
Yeah.
Right? Like, music, if anything, needs the most business skills as opposed to the least. That's why it's, you know, and if you really want it, then you'll do it. You know, you'll learn it. You know, if you don't want to learn it, congratulations. You're just literally spending money on nothing. Like, literally spending money on nothing. You might as well give me the money. Like, to be fair, like,
real shit.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that honesty that I think is valuable, man. Because if an artist is listening to this, maybe they feel like, oh fuck, it's sounding like what I'm doing, but oh shit, I see what he means. Maybe I can do something to.
Like, it doesn't have to be
this.
traditional methods.
Yeah.
You can try to convince 20 people and use $500 to convince them.
Yeah.
What do you have to do to convince them to come to this show? Come up with that. That's all you have to do. 20 people. Instead, if you think of the world, you just start doing these tactics that aim at the world, right? But it might be as simple as dinner. It might be as simple as, like, you know, taking them, paying, like, you know, to do a session with them in that sense. So most people that showed up to Val's events and actually, like, always consistently were people that we worked with, and, you know, we brought into our videos and we incorporated into the things. They were part of the work.
Absolutely.
We helped them.
Absolutely. You gotta give to receive.
To receive.
Did you ever watch Entourage?
Nah, but it's like they have like a UK version, don't they?
They might, but the show is basically a movie star and his crew, his entourage, and they're just running around Hollywood. And one of the characters, he had a rapper that he discovered, and the rapper was trying to blow, and he had talent, and they threw a show for him, and they were expecting, like, Dr. Dre to go, Snoop Dogg to go, because it was in LA, like, he was getting a buzz, and they didn't show up, but a lot of people showed up, and the rapper was really upset. And his manager's like, listen, I know you wanted Dr. Dre here, but look, there's people here. People showed up. They fucked with it, you know? And even when I was young and I watched that, I'm like, that's a fucking great point, bro. Because, like, to your point, if you have 20, that's, to me, big, because the next one going to have some more.
Well, like, the point is to aim for the 1,000. Like, there's actually, like, I was reading this, and they said, like, it's like, so the way things in a business start, it's like, it's almost like a bell curve, right? So it starts off, and you know, you're like, you introduce the idea, and then you have the early buyers, and they're the people who are probably the most highest in open-mindedness, right? And these are the people that when the iPhone came out, they were like way before everybody. They're like the hipsters, right?
Yeah.
Before everybody. So the hardest thing to do is to convince. So there's like this waiting period between when you first introduce the idea before it was like it's like the first 13%. You need 13% people you know, to kind of fuck with the idea, right? And once it hits like that 13, it's almost like a tipping point, and then it just kind of goes and explodes.
Yep.
Right. I remember like it was like this. The guy kept saying like, oh, it's not 10%, it's 13. Like no matter what, that 3% is probably the hardest to get. And I see that as the first 1,000 people. Right, you convince 1,000 people to see your value, and then other people are going to notice that there's 1,000 people, and then they're going to get it, right?
Building that trust, man. People need to see that. A lot of people don't want, like their example when Bao went up to the balcony or whatever. Like a lot of people think it's cool, but they don't want to be the only one doing it or the first one to do it, because it does take balls. Because a lot of time you might get some shit for doing that. So a lot of people need to see that, oh, there is a following here. Now let me take a look at what this guy's doing. That's very true. And I know you can't blame anyone for that, because I think we're consumers, bro. At the end of the day, we look at Yelp reviews. You don't really want to go to a place that has one review or no reviews, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
you want to have a little more knowledge.
I think it's because, this is my justification, I think your brain's trying to conserve as much energy as possible. So giving something an open mind is expensive. And we try to go for reputation because it's like you did all the vetting for us. Yeah. Right?
It's got to be good.
It's got to be good if a lot of people like you, especially people that like what I like.
Right.
That's why open-mindedness is really like you know, rare, because it's expensive on the, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's why, like, with, you know, so most people buy on the subconscious level. They're not really looking at the. So when people come up with these, you know, like these messages and all these different things, and they say, "Oh, I'm just seeing the messages," and that's yeah, but people aren't really. They're not using that part of their brain when they, you know, they won't, because that part of the brain is way too costly, right? You're relying on subconscious. Why do you think sex sells the easiest? Because it's all subconscious stuff.
Yeah.
and violence. You know, all these different things. They're very quick to grab your subconscious attention. So when people have like, oh, I preach about positivity, good luck, because, you know, like, that's really hard on the brain. You know what I mean? Like, people only like conscious rappers or conscious musicians when they're famous. Before that, it's like, good luck. You know what I mean? Like,
100% agree.
They're corny because it's like, well, they're only corny because they're expensive on the brain. It's like literally like having a textbook.
Exactly. It's fucking hilarious, man. Like, the quality's got to be great, but everything else has to be great too. The mission, like the thing that is like, you know, you gotta make sure everybody's on the same mission. Like, we're all after the same goal, and it's an emotional goal. It's like this goal that's like, you know, for me, my goal, my mission statement is, it's the thing that gets me out of bed. It's like, I aim to my service is for artists that bet their life on music, and will do anything to make a living off of it, in that sense, right? And what my goal is to make that living tangible in that sense, like, you know, like literally simplify the business so that, like, it's doable, as opposed to, you know, just that's what my thing is. It's like, but that's what gets me together. But for me personally, even without clients, I'm literally, my goal in life is to make a living in music that is actually sustainable, a living, like, you know. So have a business in music. Beautiful, bro. You mentioned earlier, like, you had that dream of being in music. Now you're working on that dream. As corny as it sounds, that's something I've learned through doing this. Like, a dream is awesome. Like, wanting to get somewhere is awesome, but the work has to be put in, and the right things have to be done. Mistakes will be made, but we got to make these right decisions. And kind of just pay the price for not, like, you know, like, it's just like, well, it's just like also like investing kind of thing, right? Like, yeah, you have to. You gotta do it. That's what I was about to say. I was really impressed by the fact that you spent money on this like every month. Appreciate it, bro. No, it was like 300 before everything kind of blows off. Yeah, 100%. Yo, because I had to have that conversation with myself. Like, if I want to do this, and this, first I need a place that people can actually come to. Like, first and foremost, from there we could work on something else, you know. But I think that was my like first stage of like, no, like this has to be good. Even microphones, like one of my buddies who had a lot of audio history, he's like, yo, your audio's not good enough, like it needs to be upgraded. And yo, it didn't even hurt me, because I'm like, yo, he's just right, you know.
Yeah,
so
because you actually want the best.
Like there's certain things where it's like, no, how can you want this and then not actually do the things to fucking add to that?
You know, like
it's nuts.
I made content like a couple weeks ago, and I know, like, I already see the mistakes in it before it's even out. And like if like I would want, like, I'd be hurt if nobody called me out on that. You know what I mean? Because it'd be like, you know what I mean, like, because that's like, you know, I want people to always kind of like, you know, oh, you should have, you know, you should have stopped mumbling here, and you should have came a bit more prepared, and all these different things. And you know, having people that are willing to actually give you constructive criticism. Yeah, sounds corny, but like, yeah.
No, it's not corny at all, man, because I really, going back to what you said at the beginning of the interview, where you needed friends that were kind of on a similar path. It's so crucial, bro. Yeah. I had a similar journey, man, and I felt a similar way of like, wow, I don't really have a lot of friends anymore, you know, but it turned out to be a blessing.
So much better, man.
Very much.
Fuck
so,
you.
You know,
like,
yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah. Yo, going to that Zargo show and having all those cool ass people
Sweetheart,
there. Yeah. Shout out all the guys for Acid Sport, Helly, like all these cool ass guys. And that was like a reminder of me, like meeting you there. That was a reminder for me, like, yo, keep doing this, like be understanding of what you're trying to do.
I think you have something. Because it's like, I mean, you're seeing you a bunch of times, right? Like
there we go, bro. You know? Gotta get it tired of this face. I'm happy.
I think you should keep I like. It's gonna be iconic, almost like this Office Space vibe. Like it's gonna be its thing. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think
appreciate it, bro.
Yeah, it's gonna be a thing.
My dog. So Fallingbrook music. Would you get into other forms of entertainment too? Like if, let's say someone wants to act, but they really appreciate how you've worked with other artists. You don't know much about acting, but you understand business. Would you be open to working with someone like that?
I think like I'm not selling music, I'm selling influence.
I agree. I think like Jay-Z became a sports agent. Yeah, he negotiated music for, deals with his music. Yeah. Same shit.
Same thing. I think with I could sell like I mean the podcast would just even I used to work with a studio actually, right? Like, nice. And you know, we came up with pretty cool ideas for things.
Once you unlock that first thing and you know you can do it, opens up a lot of potential. Yeah.
To be fair, it's kind of like, I see this all as dating.
Okay. Explain.
Walk into a room, you want somebody to see you and kind of just know what you're, you know, like, but you want them to kind of know. So imagine, right, like I'm a creative and I have like a really creative outfit on.
Yeah.
But that'll grab her attention. She's gonna kind of see that, right? And she might not, you know me in that sense, but cool. And then, you know, might even, you know, how do I think? How do I? This is like dating, because I always have these conversations. It's like this, right? Like, you ever know somebody's watching you and you haven't really had a conversation, and no, it's not. But just like imagine,
I think I get what you're saying.
You get what I'm trying to say? When you make the eye contact, right? That's Brandon weird. She's aware of you, right? And after that, you go and you kind of like you have the initial conversation. You know, that's where your first impression, and then you know where she kind of feels what you're about, and then you ask for the thing. You ask for a number or Instagram. Cool. That's like asking for a follow or whatever, right? Yeah. And then finally, right, now it's a matter of how interested was she enough to engage, right? Because you get a bunch of followers, but not everybody's going to comment on it and that, right? So you kind of do this. You don't immediately be like, hey, fuck me, you know? You kind of just, let's go on a date in a bit in that sense, right? And you kind of just test to see where things are at, right? And to see how interested this person is, right?
Sales pipeline.
It is a sales pipeline, right? And then, you know, you kind of also, to not get hurt by a lot, you know, every single interaction, and mostly invest, right? You kind of understand that for every 10 people, right, 6 of them will not be interested, 3 of them will be not yet, and then 1 of them will be ready. And then you kind of just go in with that odds mentality and be like, all right, so it's the numbers game, isn't it? And then
all a fucking numbers game.
and
bro.
then you go up and you just for the ones that aren't ready, you just follow up a little bit here and there. But the ones that are, close. And then that's what it is with marketing. It's kind of just like going to as many people as possible and pitching your idea and seeing how, you know.
That's exactly what it is. That's literally exactly what it is.
And, yeah.
You can't just go for one.
You can't.
You're killing your odds.
You kill your odds, and it's a very low odds. It's 10% that somebody's actually going to be there. Why would you bet your whole thing on 10%? Your self-esteem on 10%?
No,
Mad.
you got to spread out.
You have to. And then the ones that aren't, there might be people that might be interested, but just they need a bit more, you know, like time. So you just keep them there and you feed them content, information, follow up, you know, but you still.
Exactly, bro. We can't be mad at someone if they're not ready, because we're not ready all the time either.
Yeah.
It's human shit. Let's keep moving, though. That's the thing. You nailed it, bro. Like, a lot of people will just have their eyes set on one thing, don't get it, then they're frozen or they stop. You can't do that. Like, that could be your main target, but keep running around.
You also funnel most of it, just in business, right? You funnel most of your attention and energy on the people that are buying from you, as opposed to the people that aren't, right? You give low investment kind of, you know, just to keep it flowing in that
feelers.
sense, right? But you want that customer loyalty, right? So that they come back and they also tell their friends.
Facts.
You know what I mean? Like, that's why you kind of have to, it's also making sure that you're giving to the people that have the highest value.
I know where your bread is buttered. Very well said, bro. How are you feeling about the Toronto scene right now? You pulling up to events, this and that?
Yeah, it's the thing. It's the game, isn't it?
Do you enjoy it as a person, or are you there for a business or
I'm there for
hybrid?
business.
Okay.
A lot of these shows are boring, and they're boring because I think it's just like, I don't think anybody actually comes with the show. I think they don't have a definite set, right? Like you know, why isn't there a set? Why isn't there a consistent show that's over and repeatable?
Right.
And you know, you come up with this idea, and you say, hey, how often can I repeat this that it's slowly be entertaining? You know, that's not a show. It's just like you're just coming in doing an open mic, you know, and you're just getting $40 out of it, you know. And yeah, no, it's and I've already seen you like last week. You're not gonna, you know, it's the same song next week, right? Like,
that's a great way to look at it.
it is. It's not a show. It's not a show. They're not, and they're aiming at the music being sold,
Right.
not the show. Why? You make more money. Let me ask you this: what your favorite artist in the ever? You don't have to take that, but give me a name. Let's just say
Max B.
Max B for Rich Montana. All right.
Yes, sir.
How much money have you spent on Max B?
Not that much.
Not that much.
Directly,
Most people say zero. How much money have you spent on local artist shows?
More. Much
Because
more.
shows, you spend more money on the show.
Facts.
We've always spent money on shows and merchandise. So that should be the thing we focus on for all our marketing. You know, not the music.
Man. Yo, you're breaking things down, man. I like how you communicate that. It's so true. It's as simple as you can put it, and simple is the best.
For massive artists, they're massive enough to where we hear them in Toronto and they're across the world, right? That's how big they are.
Yeah.
So they can afford to kind of allocate a little bit of money for for streams, you know.
Yeah, or a crazy video or whatever.
In that sense, right? But we are literally not at that level. We are just at the community. We need money to survive. A successful business is at least in order to be a viable business, not even successful, just viable, you need to make 3 times more, right, than you're spending. Most people are not even making you know what I mean?
Man. And it's not easy to do.
It's not viable. Viable means just the bare minimum to keep alive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good luck. No one's keeping track of the money, and by money we're talking about the money you're making back.
Yep.
You know.
When you deal with artists, it's new artists, do you tell them straight up, listen, we're probably not going to make $1 for this time period. We got to focus on getting product out there, getting your name out there. Is that a conversation you have?
I tell them from the beginning, it's not music. I will never sell your music. I will sell your product. The only way I'll ever sell your music is if I'm selling physicals. I will not sell your music because it doesn't make fuck all. I will not sell streams.
And through your experience with the artists that you've worked with, how do you feel? Do you give them a timeline of if we do this, this, and this, I think we can make some money 6 months down the road, or is it each situation just kind of you got to start and then go from there?
Depends on where they're at, sort of. Like some people, if they're already doing shows, then we can do that because they've already. And it depends on how organized they are with their client list. It's like, you know, most of them don't have client lists. So how am I supposed to sell when you don't even know who your customers are, right?
And for a rapper, or an artist, what would a client list be? Like people that have come to your show,
and and you've kept track of you literally have like a customer list, like every business does, right? Most people won't do that, or at least an email list, right? Like at least some list of people that showed interest, right? So that we can know where to start, who to talk to. If you don't have that, then I have to start you from scratch, because we don't know how big your brand is. We don't know how big you know. I can't look at your following, because I mean I've seen people with like 12, 13K followers, but then 50 comments. Vilemurk has 1,000 followers. He gets 50 comments, but they're all genuine followers.
Yes. Oh my god.
All right. Like
huge.
So, and it's consistent too sometimes, right? So your following doesn't mean fuck all to me.
I love that you said that, bro.
Yeah, no, I only like the followers too that we got. We got them at shows. We got them at people that we met, and they got us like knowing our brand, not just off random.
Yes.
They knew our brand and they knew what we were about, so that they're valuable because of that.
100% agree, bro. I just fucking find it hilarious that people have like 1 million or even like 50K followers and get no comments, or really no one knows who the fuck they are. Like, it looks embarrassing, bro.
It's a vanity metric. Yeah, no, if anything, it's worse. Your
it's
engagement.
terrible.
Yeah, shit.
Terrible. No, I like that you brought that up, bro.
100%. I mean, like, that's like half.
It's got to be said.
That's like, oh, I know 10,000, you know, people, but no one talks to me. I mean, that means you're a loser. Like,
Exactly.
you know what I mean? Like,
what's the point of that?
Yeah.
Real shit. So, yo, we're about an hour into the interview.
Really?
Time fucking flies. I want to ask you anything you want to promote, anything you want to tell the people about Fallingbrook, anything you want to talk about at all. Floor is yours right now.
I have an album.
Let's talk about it.
So the album is going to be, even though I do sometimes produce, I'm not that, like, I started getting slightly good, but I'm not relying on my production on this album. I'm kind of doing like a whole DJ Khaled kind of thing where I take my favorite producers and artists and, you know, and I kind of like create this community album.
All Toronto.
All Toronto. Well, it's not, yeah, for now.
Mostly.
Like, I know people from the UK that I started.
Sick.
Yeah, so I might just, I want to put them in. But I kind of want to, but primarily Toronto. And primarily the same community. Yep. I'm not going outside that community. So I want it to be almost like, I want to use artists in ways that like they usually wouldn't use them. And like, again, I had this one song that was like with this girl named Jessie Vickery. She does like a whole Taylor Swift vibe, like country folk singer kind of thing. And you have a guy named Top Man Miko. He does like trap, and then put them together, and it came out pretty fire, right? Yeah, no. So I wanted to do stuff like that where different artists, different producers, and I also kind of liked, I dabble in the writing too. Okay. But I kind of make sure that every song is kind of consistently on the topic, so that the album is still, you know, cohesive.
Very cool. Yeah, and
I think it's going to be an album that like will actually provide value, because it's like we're not just going for music, but we're going to you know, I plan to do performances, right? And I plan to kind of also like, it's like we all have a reason to promote this one album, this one body of work, as opposed to our own separate things, right? So we can all pool our resources for this one thing that, like, you know what I mean, that we're all going to share, as opposed to like you know, everybody for themselves, you know.
Great idea, man.
And yeah, like on top of that, they would also have my guidance for free, and I also have a lot of, I know quite a few people that are just really good at visual arts and production, and you know, like movie makers, like quite literally, and you know, they believe in me too, and so, you know, they get my resources too, like these artists. You know, I found a way that like I only do things when everybody's incentivized. Yeah. You know, because that's the only way you can ensure like reliability. So I make sure everybody has a strong reason why they would do it, and yeah, I think it's a good idea for an album.
That's an excellent idea, bro. Do you have stuff done?
Yeah. Can you hear it?
I'd love to hear some.
How do I play it?
That's a great question. Send it to me, and we can pipe it into the.
Yeah, no, it's
audio.
actually pretty fire. I'll send you the one with Snacks and Unlisted Negroes. Really fire. You know both of them?
No.
No, Unlisted Negroes.
Just put me
fire,
on,
bro.
Just put me on, bro.
Yeah. Yeah. So I have one with them. You could get a taste of like the production and the vocals.
Excellent. And yo, that's sick because we just saw it right now. I'd never heard of those artists.
Yeah.
People are gonna know one or two of the artists maybe, and not know a few others. They're gonna get put on as well. Like, oh man, I see a lot of potential for this.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Cool
I also pick people that have some buzz too, like, but not necessarily all the time. Not all the time, right? But like, I'd like to pick people that are pretty like solid artists. So if I do pick you, like
you fuck with them.
Yeah, fuck with them. Like I'm not like, that's another thing too. I find people do things out of the politics, right? Like, oh,
for sure.
I would never put whack art. That's shit. Like, you know what I mean?
No, you gotta like their music, man.
Yeah.
For an album, the music is number one.
I lost a relationship because someone tried to put me with somebody that I didn't want to.
Okay.
They wanted to, and I said, nah, fuck you. And I'd rather lose the relationship than compromise my album.
Good for you, bro.
Yeah.
I fuck with your vibe, man. You got.
I lost too much
what
already
you
for
want.
music, bro. Like
Let's keep going,
as well,
man.
Like, I mean, like, nah, bro. This is like something I'll cut anyone off for, and I'll do anything. Like, it's the thing that, obviously with reason. I'm not like this whole like. I try to arrive at compromise.
Yeah,
always
exactly.
always try to arrive at compromise. But when someone's like not budging on a core fundamental thing for me, and
principles, you need your principles.
Yeah,
and also that's like trust in yourself too. It's like you know what you want. You know what you want, man.
Yeah.
You know what you want. What other people want, if it's not what you want, I don't think it works. Whatever it is.
This far alone, and it's like, why not? Like, there's always like I know the process of losing something. There's like a grieving period at first, and after that, there's a part where you're like, oh, like still trying to regroup, and then after that, you figure it out how to do on your own, and you always find something.
Keep it moving, bro. Yeah. Very well said. I love that. Yo, as a person, what's your music that you like to listen to? Not even necessarily Toronto.
Yeah. No, I'll give you like a thing, a summary of like the types of artists that with you think. So I'm like a mix between Jay-Z, Kanye, Frank Ocean, Coldplay, Tame Impala. Like, I'm starting to listen to a lot of rock, like punk, pop punk.
Yeah.
Like, so Gene Dawson's been a big artist for me lately. I like some psychedelic shit too, which is why I probably like Tame Impala. But yeah, like I just like weird noises, and like, but also like jazz sometimes. I don't like saying I like everything, but like I feel like I like.
There's potential to like a lot of shit.
There is, but it's hip hop mainly. It is hip hop because the rhythm of hip hop that I really like. Hip hop and R&B. And then so Kanye would be a good like bridge between everything because I feel like he can tap into it, but he still makes it hip hop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll ask the TMZ question how you feel about Kanye late, like in the news, his public persona. Not saying that's true anything, but his perception lately, how you felt about that.
I love Kanye because Kanye's always been somebody that when I was a kid, like, always said the things that I'd say to my friends, and then they'd be like, why are you saying that's weird? And then when Kanye said it was fine. He just normalized my ideas. And I think like I don't think it's fair for people to kind of like he said some wild shit, so it's hard to, but like I still think though it's the thing about Kanye is that like I need to avoid this question just because it's political.
No, it is. He's a great example too of like sometimes.
I don't want to fucking avoid this question because I love it. Like,
yo, for me, I'll pick and choose, bro. Like I think right now, for a while at least, people are very quick to paint someone as a villain or even a hero, but especially
I love Kanye,
villain.
that's all I'll say.
Yo, I fuck with him too because everything he says, do I agree with? No, but name me one person in life that I agree with everything they say.
I just also think the bite back that he's receiving is way too drastic, considering like I'll say this. When it comes to saying fuck white people, it's always fine. It's like it's empowering to say fuck white people. But then if you say fuck anything else, this is not. It's like that. Do you not think? And Kanye got famous by saying fuck white people back when it was like in 2006, right?
Yeah.
You guys loved him for that. And then when he does it to like, I just find it that he lost everything, right? I think to a group that is not that disadvantaged.
Yeah, and the crazy thing to me with the specific, like the current situation he's dealing with, is he didn't really say fuck you. He just had his opinion about.
He's angry.
Yeah,
and he just wants somebody to empathize with him and say, you know, this is like, you know what I mean? And you know, like Kanye's always been sporadic, and you know, it's like cool, you love him when he's on your side, but then you know, like
exactly.
And I just think that like it's also people that have no ties to that group that are also more hurt about this, and you know what I mean? It's like why are he's not hurting you specifically, that like, you know what I mean? Like
they've just got some anger that they need to get out.
Well, I think it's white guilt.
Something.
I think it's white guilt. I think it's like you know, and I think that's because white guilt exists. I don't know. I hate getting political.
Say it, bro.
Fuck it. But it's like I think it exists because we live in a world where it's like we're constantly saying fuck white people, fuck white people, fuck white people, fuck whiite people, right?
Being programmed.
And now they're like in this world where it's like, you know, I have to say something that's like,
yeah.
And I studied politics, like I studied like you know, like law. I know what like actual liberal law is, and what, you know, like, so there's 3 types of law. There's liberal law, there's paternalistic law, and there's traditional law, or like no, moralistic law, right? You do liberalistic law, which is, you know, liberalistic law is when the state can't interfere with you, right, unless you're interfering with somebody else. So that means it's like minimal state interference.
Right.
All right. Paternalistic law is when we have to stop you from doing something, even though you might not get it, because you can't see the consequence of your actions, right? So we're, you know, like we don't care whether you get it or not. It's like seatbelts, for instance, right? It's like, why do I have to put seatbelts on? Because when you don't, and you get an accident, that's so expensive. You know what I mean? And it could be avoided if you just put your fucking seatbelt on, right?
Yeah.
That's paternalistic law. Moralistic law is when it's like on society's values, and more, you know, and it might not even be necessarily, it just depends on how society feels. So if we all think this is right, then it should be, you know, it should be a law, right? It doesn't really have to go on, it just depends on how majority feels, which is funny because that's like really like the thing that people thought conservatives were, right? But now it's almost like you know, like you know, we're applying more moralistic laws on left values, right, as opposed to. And now I think that the conservatives are actually the liberals, because they're saying, well, I'm not affecting you. Why are you getting in my way in that sense, right? Free speech. So it's almost like everything just went backwards. Like I studied it from a legal perspective, right? And I just think it's like now we're in a world where democracy doesn't really matter, because it's like, well, if a group of people want something, and you know what I mean? And, you know, like somebody who's not in this group says, no, in fact, that shouldn't be right, because, you know, it's almost like their democracy doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, exactly. Who gets? Why are you the ones that are more important
now? Because that's moralistic law, where it's like we're operating on your values as opposed to, you know, interference with things and, you know, objectives, right? I don't know. Free speech is something that, you know, again, just like the truth, right? Like I've met people that prioritize being nice over the truth, but all it does is just create like it's a credit card.
It's denial,
bro. It's a credit card, right? You know, like what ends up happening is you max it out, but then someone pays the bill later.
Yes.
And when it's time to pay the bill, it's like, oh fuck, right? Like, I mean, that's why I think like, so just pay the price now and just worry about, you know, as opposed to, yeah, it's a responsibility taking it now.
Yes, you're right, bro. You're gonna pay at some point. It's gonna happen. Fuck, man, I love a good political conversation.
Shouldn't be scared of saying this shit.
No, and that's
but because of the world, the way it is right now, I am terrified. And imagine that. Like, I don't think I've said anything that but like I just know. Like, that's what, you know.
Bro, that's one of the reasons I started this shit, bro. Like, when I first started this podcast, it was very political, usually by myself, and the reason was, it's like I can say this shit. If no one listens to it, I don't care, but I can say it because I'm not hurting anybody. I'm not doing anything really other than using my voice. And I think more people we gotta remember that, like, yo, we can't think of consequences that haven't happened yet. You know, like, we can't fear what what consequences are gonna come from what I say. Fuck it, man. Let's say it first. It's got to be said. We got too many people biting their tongue. I think it's not that. That's where I think it's not good. We can't blame the crazy ass left. We got to blame ourselves for not speaking on it, bro. Kanye, again, say what you want about him. He says what he wants to say. He'll never say, "Oh, I didn't get the chance to say this because I said it," you know. And I think we just need a little more of, yo. We don't need to say fuck you to any race. We don't need to say fuck you to any people.
Just let people disagree.
Let people disagree. There needs to we gotta voice our opinions too. You know.
It's like, and it's getting dangerous because it's like. Well, I don't think so anymore because I think the world's correcting itself. I think Kanye is the martyr. Unfortunately,
he's been that many times.
He's always been the martyr. But Kanye, if they're gonna go back and they're gonna realize that like it was fine, and then the reason why too is I think like I have this theory about Kanye is that Kanye goes to the like when something is super saturated, he goes on the opposite end. So he was liberal when the world was conservative. So the world was conservative after 9/11, right? So we needed at that time, I think it was way too conservative. So we needed liberal, left values, right? Yeah. We needed the left. I've always believed in both sides, right?
You need both. You need Coke and Pepsi, bro.
Just the far left and the far right are terrible.
No.
Right? So, Kanye came in when the world was left, and he came in with left values. If you look at what he's doing, super self-express, all these different things. Like, you know what I mean? You could do anything. And then, like, the world became far left, right? And he's like, all right, then he started doing the gospel stuff, right? Moving on to, conservative, voting for Trump, all these right values, right? Because he kind of knew that this was saturated. And then you move on to a market that feels like they're not represented. And I think he kind of knew that, like, I think it's always been the pattern where things get saturated and they kind of move on to the thing, and he wanted to beat us to it.
Yeah.
Right?
And he did.
And he did beat us to it. He saw this coming like ages ago, and I think by the time we catch up with him, he's going to be the, like, yes. And I think everything he lost will just come back like, oh shit, he was right the whole time.
I completely agree.
I don't think Kanye's an idiot. I don't think he's an idiot.
People that say that,
no. I think this was all. I think he knows where we're gonna end up being. Like, look at this Andrew Tate stuff, right? At first, nobody wanted to claim Andrew Tate. Now I'm starting to see a lot of people claim Andrew Tate.
Bro, look at Trump.
And Trump in that sense, right? Again, like the world is moving to the right politically. It is, because it has to. Because anything to the far left, I mean, it's communism. It's fucking.
Oh my god, bro.
It's just as bad as like fascism, right? Like, so. It needs this balance, right? And I think the good thing about the West is that we're smart enough to find that balance.
100%.
So we're gonna go and we're gonna hit the far right until it becomes bad, and then we're gonna balance it out again. It's just always gonna be that way.
Always, and you're right, man. And history repeats itself.
Yeah.
There's examples throughout history where this is how essentially happened before.
Yeah. I mean, you had the hippies after World War II.
Yeah.
Right. And that's when it was far left again, and after that it went to the right.
Exactly.
When,
100%, bro.
Like that's just the way things are. I mean, it's like economics. You always find that equilibrium.
Exactly. Even now with inflation and shit like that, I've read stuff where in the 70s they went through a very similar
it'll
situation.
Correct itself. Yeah. It only doesn't correct itself when things get lazy and the systems get lazy in the sense of like. But I think when things change, like we're going through a transitional period where things are getting like chaotic, but we're gonna hit a really nice point eventually where people agree.
One of the biggest transitional periods in a long time, because we had a pandemic too, bro. Without the pandemic, shit was pretty crazy. Especially like the Trump years, just how wild people were with hating him. Shit was crazy. Throw a pandemic in there, fucking nuts.
Yeah, I think
it's crazy, bro. We went through some shit.
I think it was like what we needed, because it was
I do too. Correction.
It was because again, the far left, anything in extreme is bad.
Agreed.
Right. And I always thought that the left was like the feminine and the right was the masculine. Right. The left prioritizes like compassion, empathy, putting other people before you in that sense. And but then the right was almost very, like it's me focused first. Status, focus, aggression, all these different things, right? And again, anything in extreme, too feminine, too masculine, funny enough, right? I'm not gonna say that. That's gonna let's not say that. But yeah, like I always kind of thought that. But
No, it's a good way to put it, bro. You need that balance. You said it. Anything extreme is no good. And anything, drinking alcohol extreme, not good. Eating food extreme.
I've always thought too,
not good.
You could always have two opposite opinions and always be correct. It just depends on what you need more at that time of.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, the scale's not always 50-50. Real shit, bro. I really fucking enjoyed this conversation, man. Is there anything else you'd want to bring up before we wrap it up? Anything at all?
Oh, do you have a question?
I got a lot, bro. I feel like I really... Yo, you know, want to know something funny? When you were coming in here, I'm like, I'm interested to talk to this guy because I don't really know what he does exactly. Yeah. And I think I got some clarity in that. And I learned, bro. So I appreciate you for coming on. Like, this is an awesome conversation for anyone trying to make it for themselves, man. Make $1 for themselves. I think you gave some real good advice and starting points. Even for me, I'm thinking of shit in my head right now.
You know what's crazy?
That's a good point.
You know what's crazy, though, is that this is also my first year. Like, I just started learning this shit. I just wondered, like, all right, well, what if I get a couple more years in this? Like,
oh, man, a couple more years, be a monster.
Fucking amazing.
Yo, consistency and time is experience.
Yeah.
When you have that experience plus a good mind.
The more successful I get, too, at this is, like, the more I want to do it even more because, like, the result, I just get addicted to the results, right? And I'm like, shit. Like, and then,
yeah, man, you've done it already. You got that taste.
Well, it kind of, but it's not even like, like, it's not really that sick. My results were whatever. But, well, in retrospect to the world, right? But, like, it was cool because, like, I thought, like, it was compared to my peers at this level. I did a massive jump. This shit. But in the world, nah. But, like, to my peers, yeah.
Yeah, man, you're keeping up.
Yeah, and this is my first year, and people have been doing this for, like, years, like, trying to, whatever. You know, they also have, some of them also have decent, like, degrees, and they still can't crack at it.
Yeah.
And it's like, I did it.
Nah, keep it up, bro. I like what you're doing. I think we'll fucking be in touch for sure.
Sure, I kind of, yeah, we should work together, too.
I'm down, man. I'm down. Think of some ideas and put it into place. I'd love to, bro. What's your IG?
It's Fallingbrook Music.
Fallingbrook Music. Follow Fallingbrook Music. Do you have a date-ish for your group album, or is that too early to say? I wanna
release some shit. Like, the thing is, I'm also kind of thinking about not putting my album on streaming, because I feel like I could make more money that way.
Okay.
Like, if it
just put it on YouTube, or
no, sell physical. Like if it was exclusive physical,
as like a piece of art.
Kind of, but also like you hear it at a show and you really like it, and you're like, and
let me buy it.
And on top of it's a community album, people just really want to. So they'll be really intrigued. And
very good idea.
And there's money involved, right? Like,
very good idea. Fuck, that's a good idea, bro.
Yeah, I'll just keep coming up with them.
We can do something together for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Yo, I appreciate you, man. This was a fucking awesome conversation. Fallingbrook Music. Shout out Fallingbrook. Versatile Vigilante. Like, subscribe, comment. Got a lot of shit coming. Let's get it, man. 2023. Off to a good start. Let's go.